Dr. Kim Malalieu, who's not here this afternoon. She's the head of computing and electrical engineering at UE, who helped yesterday. Miss Judith Moraine Webb, one of our own lecturers here at UTT, and Miss Amrita Bali, who's the general manager of one of the companies in the Point Lisas complex, who worked very hard yesterday. And then today, we show appreciation to Mr. Tommy Johnson, who's here with us, Miss Donna Chinley, who had to leave, and Mr. Saeed Hamid, who worked incredible hours. And then one of our own as well, Talia, Dr. Talia Flavius, she's not here right now, who worked all day trying to decide among these wonderful, spectacular submissions, and everybody thought different ones, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag to say who won. You're all winners. The finalists this year, we lecturers had the challenge of our lives to go from 289 submissions down to 30. So that's like, those of you sitting here are top 10% of all the submissions. You can give yourselves a round of applause. You're all winners. And we've asked Mr. Johnson to speak a little bit on behalf of the judges. And despite who wins well, you've all won already, but despite who comes first or second or third, they reminded us in the judges' room upstairs that, Federal Express flunked their business plan at Harvard Business School because they said it wasn't going to work. And the cell phone, they thought that the max in terms of the market for the cell phone was 200,000 mobile phones in the entire world. Who has the last laugh? So whatever we tell you about what we think about your idea, don't believe us. Seriously, keep the dream and the passion in your head and go for it. Because ideas that start here at UTT will change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Thompson. We will now like to call on Dr. Ali. He has come to our university and has fully supported both research and entrepreneurship at this institution. Entrepreneurship is a major part of the vision here at the University of Trinidad and Tobago. I would like us to welcome our acting president and provost, Dr. Ali, to give some opening remarks.
Distinguished professors, ladies and gentlemen, guests, scholars of the University of Trinidad and Tobago. The brief statements I've penned here, I have entitled, "The Dreamer's Disease." And I want to open by reading a quotation from Robert Anton Wilson. And he says, "The future is up for grabs. It belongs to any and all who will take the risk and accept the responsibility of consciously creating the future they want." With these words from Robert, I want to invite you to consider that the future is not something ahead of us. What is in front of us, what is clearly ahead of us, is always the past. And that past is created today, in the present moment. So what we must do today is use our actual minds to create our possible worlds. To let the slow fuse of the imagination be lit and to begin to dream the dreamer's disease. What is ahead of us is clearly a chance to break the frames of the traditional, to paint beyond the boundaries, to go outside of the canvas and even to paint the frame itself, to dance the dance of the Nataraj of Lord Shiva, burning past traditions in a ring of fire with one leg raised, beating a drum, ushering in the new. Adam Smith, in his magnum opus, The Wealth of Nations, speaks about the factors of production. And he lists land, labor, and capital. Professor Smith, in that monumental piece of work, did not consider risk. The future is something you will make for yourself, and it involves taking risk. The risk of being lost, the risk of leaving home, the risk of going to another university to further your education, the risk to be different, the risk to push the boundaries, the risk to be yourself and not a simulacra that is a copy of something for which we cannot find any original. It involves even the risk of being a failure. But above all, in taking some of these risks, we must be responsible. And we must take some time to look at the watchwords of our nation: discipline, tolerance, and production. And I would not call upon you to explain the meanings of these words and put you on the spot. But clearly, discipline has nothing to do with conduct. Discipline has to do with the partitioning of your time to play very hard and to know when to stop playing and then to work very hard. And tolerance is one of the pillars of the future, because tolerance has to do with teamwork. And there is no future for Trinidad outside the frame of tolerance. The city of Port of Spain has to be a space where people feel welcome and safe to come and work with you in a space, in a team, to create new products and new ideas. And production, there could be no production with simply land, labor, and capital. There must be risk. And in the contemporary literature, you would see risk described as entrepreneurship. We're at a time when we are all witnessing the rise of a particular class of human beings in the entire world. It is described as the rise of the creative class. The rise of a class of persons not far from you at all, because we have Nicki Minaj, we have Trinidad James, and we have many more. Many more inside the halls of UTT who will come to the forefront very, very soon. George Beckford and George Lamming have described the plantation society and the legacy of that frame as a psychological apparatus. But I call upon you today to invent yourself to create your own possible worlds, to break away from the best straight line through a scatter of points on the graph of life, to become outliers, in the words of Malcolm Gladwell, to dream the dreamer's disease, to be the fluctuation in the data set, to be that dot that is not on the line, especially if that line is a line that has been drawn by someone else for you. Welcome to your own future here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. We now call on Mr. Tommy Johnson to give us a report on the judges' views.
Dr. Ali, Professor Thompson, faculty members, participants, and others. They always seem to put me after the most eloquent of speakers because, I don't know, I just seem to get that position, you know, because I'm not too eloquent. But one thing I would like to say is that what Dr. Ali has outlined there, I have experienced. I came out of school with no O-levels, with no university degree, but I was very fortunate that I had enough of an education that taught me enough of life skills, that hard work, a lot of persistence, some innovative dreaming, and the ability to work very hard, to respect people. I have actually come out now with a very successful company in the energy sector. I have built 2 boats that people in Trinidad said could never be built here. And the reason I mention this is I was inspired to mention this really because of just giving the example of what Dr. Ali has told you guys here can be done. It really can be done if you're willing to have the right mindset. I'd like to congratulate, first of all, UTT. I think this program is absolutely fabulous. I'm in full support of the program and wish to volunteer at any stage of the program. I will come in and give whatever assistance I can, because I really think that the mindset of our young people needs to be opened somewhat, and opened in light of this entrepreneurship. It's not the ideas that we hear up there in the room. It's the concept of having an idea. The concept of having an idea means that when you go out into the working world afterwards, you might have had one idea here, but what it has spawned the ability for you to be in a job and say, I could make something out of this, I could do something out of that, I could invent, I could do this better. Think outside of the box. Whatever your degree is, get yourself a very good degree, and then what I normally tell people is try and follow your dreams after that. If your dreams are to achieve something, there's quite a lot of people have degrees and are not actually within it. The degree teaches you the ability to think, to analyze, to put things into perspective properly, and then to do what you want. You've got a degree to fall back on. So if you want to go into professional sports, try it. Give it a go. If nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I was very fortunate to have the ability to do that myself. I worked for somebody for 15 years, and then I went on my own. I started my own company, and you know, thank the Lord for people like your professors here that are encouraging you to do that, because we didn't have quite that encouragement many years ago. So I would like to thank UTT very much for having this program, having me be part of this wonderful program, because I really do think that it is creating exactly what we need to see for the future of Trinidad and Tobago. One of the elements of what I've seen today is I've seen a very big range, very big diverse presentations in in this competition, and I've been involved in this competition for a number of years. But one of the things I will say is they're all put together and they're all successful. You know, it doesn't matter what your idea is. If you haven't come first, you're still a winner. You've got an idea, you've got something in your head. Don't let the fact you didn't win the competition be any way whatsoever negative in your brains. Still persist with your ideas. Go forward with your ideas. Talk to everybody about your ideas. The main thing is you have the right mindset. With the training that you've got here, you've got the right mindset to go out into the working world and to be very successful. So I would like to congratulate all the participants. I think you're all winners. The number 1, 2, and 3 are winners, but the number 20, the number 200. I think it's fantastic you've got so many people. 200 and something entries. Wow. That really is fantastic. Really is fantastic. Any of you that have any, as you all are continuing your process outside, if anybody needs any assistance at all in trying to help with their ideas or push them in the right direction after they've left UTT, feel free to give me a call, and I will see which direction. I'm involved in a lot of areas. So I'd like to thank each and every one of the participants here today. I think you've done a wonderful job, and I would like to thank UTT. Thank you.
Thank you, I almost said thank you, Dr. Johnson. Well, maybe you're a doctor in your own right. Thank you, Tommy Johnson. What we have now will be calling the winners of the categories. So I'll turn you over to Andrea, and we ask Dr. Ali to help in distributing the congratulatory letters.
Okay, everyone, we had a few categories today and one yesterday. So we had agriculture and agricultural processing. We had arts and fashion, ICT, manufacturing, research, commercialization, sport and leisure, and we had a staff category this year. So I'll now announce the winners in each category, and then we'll announce the overall winners. So we'll start with the agriculture and agri-processing category. In first place, we had Kellon Marshu. The name of his idea was Natural Nitrates Limited. In second place, we had Dylan Sudarsan. Right. His idea was aquaponics TNT. In third, we had Mr. Bernard with Root Crop Mysteries. Now we have the arts, culture, and fashion category. In first place, we have Sean De Freitas with Dingole. Right? Okay, Sean had to go back to work here. Okay. Second place, Daniel Ramsahai, Infotech Solutions. Daniela. In arts, arts, culture, and fashion. So it's an ICT solution in arts, culture, and fashion. Right? She was teaching students how to play pan, but at the secondary school level. In third place, we have Christian Kaulasa with crossplay fanatics. Right, so I will begin on. We have two winners in the ICT category. In first place, we have Musi Dinoon. His idea was a solar charger for a mobile device. Second place goes to Alberta Lucio with biometrics for security. Biometrics for security, Alberta. We now move on to the manufacturing category. In first place, we have SEAD with Control Technologies Limited. So SEAD had this smart panel. He was controlling power consumption and monitoring power consumption throughout the household, throughout the house remotely. Second place to Musi, who came up with a solution for the windshield of your vehicle. And third place went to Hemat Bagwan Singh. For all of you who love to go to the gym, he came up with a lift alert. We now look at the research commercialization category. This category targets students doing projects with the intention here of not just having a good idea, but actually carrying it to market, commercializing the idea. In first place, we have Alicia Alexander with electropatient. Yeah, so she created a wristband that could monitor the patient and give information to the doctors. In second place, we had Catherine and the animation team with Trini E-Card. In third place, we had Alicia again with Hire Data Incorporated, targeting maxis and buses and any vehicle for hire. Now we go to sports. So we have sports, health, and leisure. In first place, we have the breakfast guy, Zibos, Aaron Doug Dean. Right, so he came up with a healthy breakfast for university students. If you ever wanted to play paintball, we have Christian Cowlesser creating the Extreme Paintball Park in second place. In third place, we have Renel Carrillo, Elite Sports Choice, offering athletes an approach or a facility to get professional wear. We had an other category. Other because it didn't directly fall into any one area, but it couldn't be ignored. We have one prize in that this afternoon, and that goes to Amir Khan, transforming a leaf shape disposal. He had like a leaf shaped plate. So like, you know, in the different weddings they eat from leaves? Yes. Right, so something. His name is Amir Khan. Amir Khan. Now we have the staff prize. The first place goes to Josanne Arnold with her greenhouse organic technology. They actually fertilize, like you could grow things at home with the nutrients from other plants and stuff. Yeah. For those who have students that get trouble learning, Lynette Tyson Noel picks it up.
Not yet, but I'm getting there. Right, okay. All right, lovely. Nice. Nice, thank you.
And if you want to know TNT better, Esperanza Luengo Covera, Tour TNT. So now we have the overall. Right, so now we have the overall winners.
Great, from third place, right? So we have the overall winners. The third prize goes to Dylan Sudarsing, Aquaponics TNT. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. I'm counting. 1, 21. We'll tell them afterwards. We had a tie. So, natural nitrates. Kellen? 50. Second place, Musi Dinoon for the solar mobile cellular phone. And in first place, the winner who will revolutionize eatenware or cutlery in Trinidad and Tobago and the world, Amir Khan. Thermoformer.
Next week, Tuesday, sure.
Okay.
I've been asked to make an announcement, which is something I made an offer about. So I'm inviting all of the students and staff and participants, everyone, next week, Tuesday, at the garden in the Umera campus at 4 o'clock for tea, at which I will present you with something else for participating in the competition. So I look forward to your company on Tuesday evening at 4 o'clock for tea at Umera in the garden. And it is quite interesting that I asked the young man in the black tie, what is his name? Musi. I asked Musi how is he going to seek to control the quality of power that will leave his device and go into the phone, because obviously that is a engineering complexity. And we have many PhD people at the University of Trinidad and Tobago doing work on power systems and power in general. I think many of them came here following Professor Altawil, correct, Professor Moore? Yes. And what was very good about his answer was that he said to me, the answer to that problem will come from the man in the white tie. Because the man in the white tie, stand up, is the power systems man. And it just goes to show that what I said about tolerance and teamwork and inventing and creating, and there are no solutions here today that are pure, because every single solution will create new problems, and those solutions still have problems to unravel. And therefore, I'm looking forward to see how they will work together to solve that power problem with that solar charger for a mobile device. So I look forward, Professor Thompson and her team, they have the list of all of the persons. I will expect nobody to be absent. And I look forward to seeing all of you for tea at 4 o'clock at Umera on next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon again, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. My task today is quite simple, just to say thank you to the people who are responsible for organizing and implementing our 5th business idea competition for 2013. First, I would like to thank our acting president and provost, Dr. Ali, for taking the time to address us and also to invite us to the tea next week, Tuesday. Thank you, Dr. Ali, for your insights on entrepreneurship. Professor Thompson, for your history on the competition. Dr. Kanai, being the master of ceremonies. I would also like to thank all our judges, especially Mr. Tommy Johnson, for giving your feedback and your insightful views on business. This was the first time that the competition was held at the Valsine campus. So I would like to thank our program leaders, Dr. Joseph, Dr. DePisa, the campus manager, Karen Tardy, and her team, all faculty and staff that took the time off to come to the award ceremony, thank you very much. Our hard-working entrepreneurship and innovation team, the business development unit, corporate communications, the catering. Last but not least, the participants, all faculty, staff, and students, thank you. Every year you come forward with your ideas to make our competition very successful. Continue to innovate and create. Thank you very much.